What's going on, hockey fans? Another week, another Dan K show. We were given the week off last Thursday, but this week we got a lot to get into, a lot of details, a lot of things to work through, and a team from Chi-Town that I just can't help but bloviate about. All this and more on this week's Dan K show. What's going on, hockey fans? It is time to get into our three things. Thing number one, the executive board, baby. The Dan K show announced its executive board. This is a big, just business guys doing business. This is what we're trying to do right now. And this is less about the Dan K show and more about expanding what we can do and the lengths that we can go, right? And that's what we're looking to do in the future. So if you're interested in that executive board, head to dankshow.com and contact us there to let us know your interest. Thing number two, we've gotten a lot of applications there, but thing number two, the Southeast Division is crazy right now. People winning everywhere. Back and forth we go. The Rush in the Elite have won 24 straight. The Generals in the Elite have an argument that they've been unbeatable against that Rush side. The Hampton Roads Whalers Premier, watch out for them. But even the Junior Canes took one from Hampton Roads this weekend. Everybody's ball game. I have a feeling it is going to be pandemonium come playoff time in the Southeast. And thing number three is the real pandemonium right now out in the Midwest. And that's what we talk about today. Thing number three, it's Chi-Town. It's the Cougars, baby. Cougars. You make me make a top 10 power ranking today. I put the Cougars in it. That's how good they've been. Those are the additions they add. They add Paul Leto, a former New Hampshire Junior Monarch, who is dominating out there on the left wing. Huge things coming out of Chicago. And with that, I go to my man who I would trust to make a Chicago-style sausage plate or hot dog, a Portillo's-style beef lunch. It is my right-hand man, Mike Insigliere, Mon Frere from Another Mayor, and the man who I still, no matter how many times I watch the show, have not truly figured out which way to say he is in terms of me in the windows of my camera.
Dan, this week was a bit of an emergency press conference of its own. We had one last week to announce the executive board, and this week's show is an emergency meeting of the minds because things are absolutely heating up in the Midwest.
Yeah, and it's been incredible out there right now. And we start with the Cougars. We're going to get deeper into it, but we start with the Chicago Cougars team. This is a team that's won 9 of their last 10, 17 of their last 19. They've gotten a point in 19 straight games, 39 games into this season. I know MJDP still sits above them in the rankings here when you look at USPHL.com by 4 points, but 28, 9, 2, and 0, 218 goals for, 97 goals against. And you want to know when a team hits my radar? It's when you start hearing from other guys about them. You know, when we pumping into players all the time. We're the players' first show, right? And we talk to these guys, and I got a little bit of a heads up from Shane Hemmer and a couple boys in Charlotte to watch out for the Chicago Cougars. And wow, have they been good. Lucas, this team over 215 goals, 218 goals for, have yet to allow 100. They do it offensively. They do it defensively, and some strategic late season additions have taken them over the edge.
Exactly. I mean, you talk about MJDP still being in first, but the Cougars went out and beat MJDP twice to open the season, once in regulation, once in a shootout victory. And you're right, Dan, the late season additions have really been the most crucial additions. And I'm staring one right in the face. I mean, you look at a guy like Simon Mateau, a defenseman who's got 43 points on the season in 17 games played. You're looking at these guys. If you want to see the impact that some of these recent guys have had, you know, you've got the Joseph Martanziks, the Kevin Johnsons, the Cody Marcotes. But if you look down the list at some of the guys who don't have that same amount of games played, they're more recent additions, the guys that were added in January. This is a team that looked at where they were in January, even December, and said, there's more out there. There's talent out there. There's guys that we can bring in that slot well with the guys that we have. We just talked with Tyler Davey, voice of the Tampa Bay Juniors, on the audio podcast, which released yesterday. And one of the things we brought up the NCDC level was how to deal with this new talent, this influx of talent from other leagues. And the Cougars seem to be doing it right, bringing in guys that complement what they have, run well with the systems they've got. This is a team that, if you want to talk about the premier playoffs as an arms race, this is a team that is throwing 100% of their GDP right now into this arms race. They are going full send for nationals.
Yeah, and I mean, Joseph Martancic might be the most underrated player in hockey and the least talked about incredible player in the game. This kid's a year 2000. He's got 37 goals and 61 assists. He is 2 points away from the 100 mark. Kevin Johnston behind him with 84. And you said Simon Mateau, 15, 28, 43 in 17 games as a defenseman. Watch out, Joe Duzak. This guy's coming after your scoring records from the D side of the ice in the USPHL. I wouldn't want to touch this Cougars team. I think there is no doubt the Cougars end up at nationals, and I think there's no doubt I don't want to play them. This is a team in past years we've seen, they've given a lot of the big players trouble. They've given the Charlotte Rush trouble. They've given the Hampton Roads Whalers trouble. They've given teams trouble around the country in the Florida division. They've given the Eels trouble. They've given Tampa trouble. They've gone up to New England. They've given IHC some things to deal with. They've given the Boston Junior Bruins stuff to deal with. And I just would want to stay out of the way of this side. And Michael Leonard in net, quietly having a stellar season, man. A .925 save percentage, 12-5-0, 2 goals against average, 4 shutouts for him. I love MJDP, but this Cougars team is the best team in the Midwest East right now. And I feel foolish. I used my for Mr. Declare with the Hampton Roads Whalers. I used my I do declare, Mr. Beauregard. Well, here, Lucas, I feel foolish, Mr. Beauregard. Okay, and this Cougars team is just that good. We continue in the Midwest West, Lucas, and the next story I want to get to is the Steele County Blades. This team just went and beat the Hudson Havoc. Everybody's out there beating everybody. Havoc is the perfect word for it. The Steele County Blades, though, they sit in 5th place. They have a chance at nationals. This Steele County Blades team, how for real are they?
Well, I think the one thing that we've seen is that this year, in years past, December, January has often been a month where teams either make or break their season. But I think this season even more so. And one more note, Dan, on the Chicago Cougars. They've got games this weekend against the Wisconsin Rapids River Kings. So we're going to find out pretty quickly if the Cougars are for real or not. But we talk about Steele County. I mean, this is a team that has made nothing but adjustments since the month of December. They're improving in almost every single measure. If they're not beating teams outright, they're keeping games close. They're showing that they can dump 4 goals on a team like the Blue Ox. They're showing that they can hang with teams like the Minnesota Moose. They're going out there and taking it to the Havoc. And they've just continued to improve as they move through January into February, where, like you said, this is a team that has shown that they can not only do it on the offensive side by dropping 6, 5, 7 goals a game, but proving that the defensive side of the ice is there as well. And I think this win against the Hudson Havoc, especially with how good they've been, is a bit of a statement win here. It's been a slow climb back into it. And this Hudson Havoc win, Dan, I feel like might be the thing that tips this team over the edge.
Yeah, and I look at this team, I mean, guys like Gavin Ellis with 13 and 21, Pierce Lee with 10. Everybody's calling me. Apologies. And I look at the Steele County Blades team, and you have guys like, Pierce Lee, 10 and 20, Gavin Ellis, 13 and 21, Charlie Smith, 13 and 23. Connor Lee, man, I always talk about I love my even scores. 20 goals, 20 assists as a right winger, and Noah Yurden leading the way, 42 points on the year. This is a squad that I just think they're pretty young, man. You look at a lot of 02s, a lot of 03s. This is a pretty young squad for a team that's making their first climb up the ranks in this Midwest West division. I'd be afraid of them, but a team I'd really have to decide. I mean, who are we more afraid of coming into the playoffs? Like, is this the Minnesota Moose or is it the Wisconsin Rapids River Kings right now? Because Hudson, they are going to prove us wrong. I feel like the Hudson Havoc are going to raise a cup and they're going to be able to we'll let them fill it with water and dump it on our head because we continue to bloviate about Minnesota, Steele County, and we keep missing out on Hudson. But right now, I feel like the Moose and the River Kings, just the eye test and looking at the resume, are the two squads right now in the Midwest West.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about upstarts, you talk about teams that rebuilt, retooled, added a bunch of talent, slotted that talent in really well. But you have to make sure that as much as the shiny things are distracting, right? All these new guys, all these new teams that are really on the up and come, you don't lose sight of the guys at the top, the powerhouse teams, the teams that not only have that talent but have had it since September, October, the River Kings and the Moose. Now the big question is, and it is every year, especially with the switch in January, is, do these retooled teams that have added guys, do they and can they come out and beat these established teams? Is it the experience of being together as a team that will defeat the flashy skill and the presence, not just of, especially the defensemen the Cougars have, the forwards the Cougars have, or the insane offense that Steele County has? And I think it's an interesting question. And I don't know necessarily, Dan, if especially in this year, we're prepared to answer it. In other years, or non-COVID years, when you can only add a couple of guys, I'd say without a doubt, teams like the River Kings and the Moose that have established themselves all season long, they have the advantage. But in this year, I truly don't know if we'll be able to answer that question until it comes time for playoffs.
That's what's so exciting about it. I can't wait to see how this thing shapes out come playoff time. This is going to be an incredible season to watch the rest of the way. The Midwest West, the Midwest East, let us know your picks. Folks at home, tweet at @the_DanK show with hashtag Midwest Champs. That's what I want. Hashtag Midwest Champs. Tweet at us. Let us know who you think is going to win the Midwest West and Midwest East divisions this year. Let us know your two selections, and we will get to those on next week's show. With that in mind, here we move on to, I think, some pretty cool content coming up, Lucas.
That's right. We've got a great video interview with Jacob Smulevitch from the Charleston Colonials and Jack Klunk from the Florida Junior Blades from our Holiday Follow Challenge. We found out that Mr. Klunk was a Manahawkin native, Dan, like myself, and just over the border from you. So we had to chat a little bit about hockey, Florida Junior Blades, and South Jersey.
You are watching The Dan K Show. Everything USPHL. From the NCDC to the Premier and Elite Leagues. The Dan K Show with Dan K and Lucas Jones.
What's going on, hockey fans? Big interview time. We love to dive in deep into the details with our audio podcast, but today we dive back in with Coach Jacob Smulevitch of the Charleston Colonials in the USPHL Elite and Premier. He does it all. And Coach, we bring up to you right now a story that we talked a little bit about in the audio podcast. Could you let the folks at home in on a little bit of a watch party that was going on come power rankings time in the Elite, and just kind of what happened with the boys?
Yeah. Our Elite guys, like I said, we kind of felt this was the first week that we were going to crack the power rankings. We felt that there were some other weeks where we might have earned our way in, but, we also understood not making it in. Our guys are pretty humble with that stuff. So we realized that after the month we had that this could be the month we make it in. So our guys kind of set up an Xbox Live watch party and they were all watching it together. And then we were expecting, like I said, to make it in the 10-9 range. And so, when the 10th team got named, 9th team got named, the 8th team, the 7th team, and we didn't make it in yet, I was like, our guys, and to be honest, myself, we're like, oh, all right, I guess we missed out again. So, and then our name popped up on the number 6 spot, and I think that was much higher than any of us expected. And so our guys all, kind of exploded on this Xbox Live party with how high the ranking was. And now it's up to us to kind of prove we belong there. So,
and that's what happens here, Coach. When you have this power rankings that we put together, our power rankings, as I like to say, it's always that moment of you want in, but then you run into that buzzsaw of, okay, now target's on our back. And this year, this Florida division has been a roller coaster ride. You look at Tampa Bay coming out of the gates. Tampa Bay was unbeatable. Like, you couldn't stop this squad from scoring. Now they've come back down to earth. The Eels are starting to kind of fire up. They sat at number 4. I mean, what's this Florida division look like to you right now? And I mean, what should folks be expecting come playoff time out of each of these teams?
Yeah, I mean, look, us and Tampa, we had a little bit of a unique matchup. We were really glad that we got to play them in the showcase, because what happened was at the beginning of the year, we played them, and I think the first game was like 7-1. The next game was 8-1. Then we played them at home a couple weeks later, and it was 5-0. But then there was this game, and it ended 6-3 with an empty netter. And for us, it was a little bit of a building block. It was like, okay, we made headway, and we were missing a couple guys as well. And it gave us hope that, okay, this is a team we can beat. And then the next weekend, we swept the Eels. And so we were looking and saying, okay, well, we won't get another crack at Tampa until playoffs. And then that game at the showcase got scheduled. And for us, it was, okay, how far have we come in the 3 months since that 6-3 game? And it was a huge measuring stick game for us. So we came into it, and I think we played as well as we played all year. And so earning that win against that team, and a team that we very well might be facing in the first round of playoffs, gave us the belief that, okay, we've beaten the Eels now, we've beaten the juniors. So if we got to play one of them in playoffs, we know we can get the job done. But believe me, we're not going to be overlooking them, because both those teams have a lot of firepower to them. So, yeah.
Yeah, we saw that last year. And Lucas over here wearing that Southeast Showcase sweatshirt. And it's an honor of, honestly, just how good your boys looked in that showcase. It was, I always say, highlighter guys, right? I talk about, like, the guy that steps over the board, steps onto the ice, and you just know who he is. You don't need a number. You don't need a nameplate. You just know that guy stands out. And you got a couple of them. And Marco's one of those guys, and Sebastian Hale, and you look at Holston. I mean, he's a guy who's just sneaky, man. I always say he's shooting from the holster. That wrister comes out quick, and it snaps out fast. What's it like getting to coach so much talent out here? And I mean, what should scouts be looking at when they watch a Charleston Colonials elite game?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Because you got to get these guys playing together. And like Sebastian Hale's a kid, and I'll touch on Sebi because the kid's been unbelievable this year. He had 12 points last year, right? Playing full-time elite. And then this year he makes premier out of training camp. And then he gets brought back down to elite just because of the influx of talent coming in from, other leagues. And he's an over a point a game guy. And he's scoring one-timers. He's scoring slap shots. He's scoring, breakaway goals. He's got the best hands in the elite level. And I'll put that up against anybody. The stuff I've seen this kid do is unbelievable. But you get guys like him playing center with a guy like Jake Holston on his wing and doing set face-off plays that they come up with, that aren't even that they come up with, right? And as a coach, it's like, okay, you want them to play within the system, but it's also so fun watching them be so creative and love the game themselves so much that they're spending extra time after practice drawing up their own face-off plays they want to try. And then a kid like Marco, who's got this kind of like larger than life attitude, right? And when he scores a goal, you feel the energy in the team. And so just, you get all these guys playing, and it's just fun to watch as a coach sometimes, to sit back and watch them do their thing. And it's pretty special.
Now, Lucas, before we close it out, I'll let you get the last question in, since normally on these video interviews, I get a little excited. I see my own face and I'm like, hey, keep talking. Go ahead, Lucas. Mr. Southeast Showcase, take it away.
Well, am I wearing the Southeast Showcase sweatshirt because my question is going to deal with the Southeast Showcase? Maybe. Am I wearing this sweatshirt because it's
board? Who knows?
Am I wearing this sweatshirt because it's incredibly comfortable and it's like 3 degrees outside? More likely in that scenario. But
it's 50.
Oh, come on. I kept telling we watched the Super Bowl with Coach Crothers out there, and I told him, I'm like, dude, I'm about to just move in. If he had a room, I was in.
Yeah.
He said he didn't. I could guarantee you there was definitely another bedroom in that house.
But Coach, you've had a ton of success in the back half of the year, mirroring what has happened last year too. The Southeast Showcase, I think, really proved, and in some senses was a welcoming party to this team of you get thrown into the meat grinder, and you come out looking like a shining star. Basically, you've got guys who are really performing well, the team's performing well, and then you have this banner weekend against the Rush. And I know the elite squad didn't necessarily come up with the points that you wanted, but to anyone who's watching that game, to anyone who was there like Dan and I, to anyone who's watching on Hockey TV, this Colonials team made a statement at the Southeast Showcase and against the Rush this weekend. How does that statement affect the mentality of the team? Is it getting the boys ready for the next step in the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it proved that we can play with anyone. And like you said, for the elite guys, like we didn't win, but both games came down to an empty net or a 2-goal game. So that's a bounce away from it being a flip score. And so to us, it just proved that there's not a team that we can't hang with. And in our opinion, and I guess you'll get this from every coach, but we didn't play our best hockey. And I'm sure the Rush coaches will say the same thing. And at the end of the day, we're looking forward to playing them again at Nationals. So, we're looking forward to that, but I think the guys are going to be ready for it.
Just get out of the way. I'm jumping on the Colonials train right now. We were on it all year last year. I'm on it again. I can't wait. Thank you, Coach, for joining us. More from the Dan K Show coming up next.
Appreciate it.
Head to EliteJRProfiles.com to find the best way to give your student athlete the tools and connections needed to reach their highest goals in both sports and academics.
What's going on, Dan K Show fans? It is not every day that we get to go back to our hometown and interview a star that's better than both of us, Lucas, more athletic than both of us, more successful than both of us on the ice. And today we get a chance to do just that. The Holiday Follower Challenge was won by a team in the Florida Junior Blades, and it brought the Dan K Show down I-95 over 18 hours to go cover a skater that we could have honestly just probably driven about 3 blocks away from where the Dan K studios are right now in Surf City, New Jersey, and gone and chatted with Jack Klunk from Manahawkin, New Jersey. First of all, Jack, I'm jealous of you still being down in Florida. How's the weather down there?
It's great. We just got back last night from Charleston, and it went from 46 up in Charleston to nice and 70 and sunny down here in Florida. It's great.
Now, Jack, your squad here with the Florida Junior Blades, you guys have been on the up and come over the last few weeks. You were the talk of Florida while we were down there. Every single group we bumped into said, watch out for these Junior Blade squads in the Elite and Premier. Can you talk about kind of how the last few weeks have been since the break down in Estero, Florida for the Junior Blades?
Well, at the beginning of the season, it was rough. Like, we're trying to get our whole team together. We're fighting against the refs, fighting against everything, trying to beat the odds pretty much. And we had a game against the Aviators that just went down the hole. We totally weren't there to play, and we got a stern talking to by our GM, and he really, what I think, really turned the tide, really calmed kids down and put it in their heads, play hockey, and like we can win games. And we've proven that. We've beaten the Cyclones, top 10 team in the league. We're able to beat the Eels. It's like we can beat any team in this league if we play as hard as we can.
And that's the Cyclones team, folks. That's a plus 61 in goal differential coming into today. That was a tough team. They almost beat them twice. They had them down to the wire into overtime, a second go around. This Florida Junior Blades team is a real deal. And Jack, you're a year 03 man who plays blue collar defense. You hit hard. You were hitting everything that moved when we were down there in Estero, Florida. Can you talk a little bit about the style of player that Jack Klunk is and what brought you down to Estero? What was the selling point for the Florida Junior Blades outside of the sunshine?
So, like, the way I play, it's like I want to care about my D zone before I start heading out into the other zones. And if we can protect our zone better, it'll just cost us less goals in the end, and we'll be putting pucks in the net. And when I was this summer, I was scared that our season up in New Jersey will get canceled, and found that the Blades were able to allow me to play and allow me to still do my school. So that was really the big selling point for me to come down here.
And that's awesome. And you're from Manahawkin, New Jersey. Dan K's a Waretown, New Jersey guy. So basically from the sticks compared to you Manahawkin folks. For those of you who don't know New Jersey very well, Waretown basically, like, people consider me country down here. I might as well be mudding in a truck. So when we go down south, I always fit in better than Lucas does. But outside of lying about living in Manahawkin to play at Doc Kramer Fields in Little League with Lucas for a couple of years, I am a Waretonian. Lucas, the resident Manahawkin, I think you got some questions for Jack just about the hometown connection here.
Yeah, so it was kind of wild because we look at, sometimes we really get into the line charts during the game, and Dan has his patented just pick a player and read their hometown. And Manahawkin was one that was pretty easy for him. And once you recognize that connection, that was pretty cool. So, you made the move from Manahawkin down to Estero because of the hockey season, but talk about, your experiences growing up playing hockey in New Jersey before you made the move down to Florida, because New Jersey does have some high school teams, some great junior teams, some good youth leagues. So just talk about your experience playing hockey in New Jersey before you made the move.
Yeah, I growing up, I down in Toms River, New Jersey, with the Blackhawks and Riptide. That's where I began to love the game of hockey, and then moved up, played for the Titans, and they had a pretty good squad up there with my Pee Wee year, and then that team kind of drifted away, and we all had to find our spots, and I ended up on a couple of U16A teams, and then my second year U16s last year, I decided to go play AAA American for the Mercer Chiefs. So, and then that really helped me get my game where it is today and be able to have the opportunity to come down to Florida and play some junior hockey.
Now, obviously, Dan and I have not been in high school for many, 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 many years now. But I know that when I was in high school going to Southern Regional, the Manahawkin hangout spot was either the Fridays or the Applebee's in town. Now, the last decade has seen Manahawkin explode. There has been so many new places that have opened up, so many small businesses, big businesses, just a huge expansion. Where's the spot now? I'm just curious now. Is it still the Applebee's and the Fridays, or did you guys find someplace a lot cooler than that?
F-Price apples are pretty sick.
There's still those groups of kids that still go to those Applebee's and everything. They're still running strong. Well, most kids decide to go down to the beach, hang out on the beach, either down in Bay Village or down at the Lighthouse.
It's a fun town. And Jack, what I got to ask you here, man, we always talk with junior hockey players from around the country, and the biggest thing for us is just a story of kind of what your success is and where you're trying to get to playing this great game of hockey, right? For Jack Klunk, for yourself, what is success? Where do you want to go from here? And kind of what are you looking to accomplish down here in Florida?
To accomplish down here is to be able to get my game at the next couple of years as good as I can, would train as hard as I can to be able to make a Division III college team or even an ACHA D1 team. That's my goal, to be able to go to college and play hockey for a little bit longer.
That's it, man. And that's what we're all looking for. The right way to do it. Jack Klunk, the Manahawkin, New Jersey native, New Jerseyan. I mean, before I let you go, man, how do you say it? You say Taylor ham, you say pork roll. You better say it right.
I'm a pork roll guy.
Come on, get it right. I had to live in North Jersey, Jack, for a while, and I moved myself down out of there. I was, horrible.
My whole family's from North Jersey, and I'm the only one that calls it pork roll. So
stay strong,
Jack.
Jack.
What it is. Pork roll is the food. Taylor Ham is the company that makes the pork roll. You're all wrong. To the Klunk family, listen to Jack. This guy knows what he's talking about. To scouts out there who want to learn more about Jack Klunk, make sure you head over to USPHL.com. hop into that Florida Junior Blades elite stat sheet. You go right to USPHL, the divisions, elite stat leaders. Jack is a defenseman who will absolutely lock down the D end for you. A lot more to come from Mr. Klunk here. For Lucas Jones, Dan K. Keep watching the Dan K Show.
Welcome to the Empty Net.
Welcome to the Empty Net. I feel like it's been forever since we've done one of these because we're always doing these long Power Rankings episodes and having shows canceled. So I am excited to kind of sit here, Lucas, and talk about just what went on down in Tampa, some of the great work we were able to do in the short time we were allowed to be there, and some of the great work being done by everybody down there. An incredible time. Congratulations to everybody with the USPHL, a wonderfully put on event, a wonderfully done event. I mean, they really knocked it out of the park there. Moving on, we had a great event, Lucas. The most watched show in competition with everything in junior hockey, the most watched broadcast in the U.S. just a week back for the Carolina Premier 10U team. And how awesome was that to get done? I mean, you just posted the pictures to our Instagram page, and I mean, that was the cutest thing ever. I asked one of my buds there with the squad. I said, how good are you at your face-off game? He said, "Oh, I'm terrible." I talked to him about who's the best player in Shell. They all argued the entire time about who the best player in Shell is. Mr. Sisti put up a hat trick. He needed to score unassisted too. He had 2 unassisted goals. This Carolina Premier team was so fun. I mean, the work Ryan Crothers and the crew down there are doing with these little guys and gals, it's awesome, man. There's something about the passion for the game at that age and the love of it, and getting to interview those kids. I feel like I'm like hosting the kids say the darndest things, like when you do those types of pieces of content. And I had a great time.
Yeah, I mean it's great too because it's streamed right on our YouTube channel. You can go watch it. You can go watch what a Dan K Show presentation from start to finish looks like. And you know us, we're always making improvements on that. So where we are right now is a shadow of where we'll be at the start of next season. We're always excited to continue to do that. But we got a great response from the parents. People loved the unassisted. That was one of their favorite goal calls. That was a great one that got posted to our YouTube comment section. And parents really loved the presentation of the game. We were able to get some cool penalty box angles. So we love youth hockey. We cannot wait to do more youth hockey. We've been reached out to about high school hockey, youth hockey. We'd love to cover more midgets games. A year or two ago, Dan, we did a couple of 15U games, and we had a blast doing it just because of the passion at that age. And, at that age, there isn't a lot of video coverage out there. I'll be completely honest, right? There's not a ton of the type of video coverage you see in the NCDC. You might have some fan videos. You might have a live barn, but you don't have dynamic camera. You don't have play-by-play and color commentary. You certainly don't have a star of the game interview with some 10-year-old hockey players that when they make it to the next level is 100% going to be clipped and waiting for them in the locker room when they show up. So we just feel like it's such a fun level, the youth of the future of the game, and we would love to be a part of it.
That's it. And if you want to make us part of it and you want to bring us to your event, we've gotten such a large outreach since deciding that we're going to go direct to you as much as we can, the customer at home. Get on the list now, get on the schedule now, because it is filling up super fast. And with everything going on with COVID-19, right, it's always juggling the amount of places you can be safely and distanced and the timing you have to do it. So get to dankshow.com, go to the Hire Us tab. You can check out our services and you can contact us at that site. You can tweet us. You can do whatever you want. You can reach us. You'll reach us anywhere at @the_Dan_K Show, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. This is going to be a big couple of months for the show. There's going to be a lot going on. There's going to be a lot of growth. And, we have had a lot of folks take a look at our numbers and what this show does. And it is not even close just what this show is doing right now in terms of numbers, viewership, and social media push, tracking for sponsors, everything that's going on. So what we want to do is we want to use that. We want to take all that, and our mantra, player first, will be sung loudly for years to come. Player first, man. If you are a parent and you're looking for a highlight reel vid of your players, something to send to the coaches, something beyond just, hey, I scored a couple of goals, You want that? You want that deep dive? You want a good scouting vid? You can go to the Dan K Show. We can do that. You want us to come to your event and call your next game? We can do that. You need me to come be a PA announcer at your next work office event? Sure. Why not? You need somebody for anything. The Dan K Show is there for you. The future of broadcasting is now, and it's right here on this show. Dan K, Lucas Jones. Lucas, your parting words. I mean, that's why he's so good. They don't call him the best in the biz for nothing, folks. Dan K, Lucas Jones. When Dan K's on the mic, it is always hockey night.
I am willing to bet that the construction happening across the street is featured prominently in this video.
Oh, yeah, I hear all of it. It is very loud. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. The house looks beautiful.